Across ages, across the spectrum of autism, and across programs. When we started Project Hope 20 years ago, we did so as moms of young sons with autism. So yes, that is my real hair color. Those were good days. And back in that period of time, in 1997, the rate of autism was 1 in every 2,500 children. And even though it was a relatively rare challenge at that point in time, the need for services was still very, very urgent. As many of you know, that today that number has skyrocketed to an alarming 1 in 68 children. Well, come on. 1 in 42 boys. And very sadly, the average age for diagnosis is still 4 years. So what that means is we all know that early intervention works. It can completely change a child's life. But by the time these kids get diagnosed, they're 4. And many of them from that point still have a couple of years to wait in order to get services. That's one of the reasons that we are very happy to be collaborating with Greenwood Genetics Center on a unique initiative that we call Helix and Hope, an initiative that is bringing together science and services, and will hopefully bring about some new diagnostic alternatives that will shorten or make it possible to make these diagnoses a lot earlier than we are today. A lot of you, as I'm listening, are not in the autism world. Many of you are, but some of you are not. So there are some statistics that I think are very important for you to be aware of, statistics that impact the individual with autism, the family, and also the community. You may not know that over 30% of these individuals will always be nonverbal. They will never be able to say things like, I'm hungry, I hurt, I need a bathroom. Their parents never hear, I love you, mommy, daddy. 50% elope. And what elopement means is they wander away. They're not intentionally setting out to run away. They just wander off. They get lost and they can't find their way back. Elopement often has catastrophic endings. 84% of adults with autism will live with their parents, at least until their parents can no longer care for them or they die. And that's a sad statistic, a scary statistic for families, because in today's world, at this point in time, there really are very, very few options for housing for these folks when they don't have that home care. Additionally, 92% are unemployed as adults, and that's pretty much all of them. Now, granted, in Greenville County, we have some initiatives going on that are going to impact that number. But right now, over the next 10 years, 500,000 youth will age into adulthood. And that's a frightening statistic, not just for families, it's a frightening statistic for the community. People often say autism is not a community impact area or concern, and it certainly is. Because without effective treatment and intervention, it will cost us, the taxpayers, $2.4 million over the lifetime of that individual to take care of them. That's a huge impact on our community. Project Hope Foundation is working very hard through its 9 core programs to change the trajectory of the lives of these children and their families. 96% of the clients that we serve gain significant measurable skill improvements. Things like learning to communicate, life-changing skills. 48%, or nearly half, will gain so many skills that they will become successful members of mainstream classrooms. Even more exciting is our data shows that if we can get them into these therapies before age 3, that 48% becomes 86%. 86% mainstreaming into normal life. We are very lucky that across the state of South Carolina, we have many partners who are working to help us support our mission and to help us open doors for our children, for our adults, so that they can live as independent lives as they possibly can. We have 9 programs, but by far, our largest program is our Hope Reach program, where we provide applied behavior analysis, or ABA therapy, to over 200 children across South Carolina, providing each one of them with about 25 to 40 hours per week of intensive one-on-one therapy. ABA therapy is widely recognized as the best practices treatment for children with autism, with literally hundreds of peer-reviewed studies that support its efficacy. ABA therapy is delivered through a team. A board-certified behavior analyst, or BCBA, we call them supervisors, a highly trained lead therapist, several line therapists, which in today's world are now becoming credentialed as registered behavior technicians, and of course the individual with autism. The focus of ABA therapy is really twofold, with one of the components building skills, helping that child to learn the skills that they need to move toward independence, beginning as early as we can give them. We use iPad minis to take data using a software system called Catalyst. The board-certified behavior analyst puts together the program. The lead therapist and that BCBA are constantly updating and tweaking this dynamic program. And the parent input is a critical component of everything that we do. So we are tracking data every session, every hour, and we are constantly looking to see how can we improve this therapy. The other thing that we do is we work on eliminating those problem behaviors. Behaviors that interfere with a child's ability to learn and actually to live. So again, using the Catalyst and the iPad mini, okay, Fran, we are able to track those behaviors and make sure and assess the effectiveness of those behavioral programs. Project Hope is one of very few providers, nonprofit providers of ABA therapy in South Carolina, and that means that our programs are typically funded through BabyNet if they're diagnosed before age 3, also through the PDD Medicaid waiver if they're 3 to 10, and through insurance. And thankfully, thanks to the Ryan's Law initiative, more and more insurance companies are covering ABA therapy, and that's exciting for families. However, there are 50. We'll get back to questions, okay? There are, at present, that we know of, over 1,500 kids on that waiting list to receive ABA therapy under the PDD Medicaid waiver. So Medicaid in general is poised to make a difference, poised to change the lives of children and families across the upstate. DHHS 2 years ago said, hey, you know what, we should be covering ABA therapy all along for anyone 0 to 21. So states, we mandate you now to provide access through Medicaid to ABA therapy. But frankly, for some reason, DHHS is digging its heels in and refusing to provide a sustainable rate for this therapy. South Carolina has the lowest reimbursement rate of any state in the nation. In fact, you can actually go to Starbucks and work and make more money than our registered behavior technicians can make. It is a debacle. What is the effect on the child? Providers have waited for 2 years for a promised sustainable increase that is not going to happen. So several have already closed. Many are saying we're not taking any new Medicaid clients. Many have already said, I'm sorry, we will no longer be able to serve you under Medicaid. So a law that's supposed to give equal access to all children with autism is not going to work in the state of South Carolina. Children who need this life-changing therapy will not get it. So what can you do? You can call Governor McMaster and tell him that you, or ask him, that's probably the better way to do it, if he will tell DHS to raise the reimbursement rate for autism. Children's lives and our community are depending on it. So I'm off my soapbox, and we'll talk a little bit I want you to envision a beautiful slide with a teacher and 3 really cute kids in front of her because it's disappeared for some reason. And it's my favorite.
It's government and that's
It is my
favorite.
So in addition to the Hope Reach ABA program, we have school programs as well. So we have a variety of classrooms all geared towards supporting that child with autism. We have inclusion classrooms that go from K through up to K3 up through 5th grade, where children with autism are learning side by side with typical learners. We have more autism-specific ABA-driven classrooms that we call Bridging the Gap classrooms. This is K3 through high school. We have 2 tracks within that. We have the academic track, where we hope to mainstream these kids out to other locations and into our GED program. But we also have a vocational track so that we can work them toward our adult program, Hope Alive, that is working working on employment options for our folks. We also have, for those kids who are most significantly affected by autism, a classroom option that we call Hope Alive Junior. And in this, we are working on functional life skills, on community skills, on communication skills. And that is middle school and high school. We have a program called Hope Link, where we are supporting those team meetings that we have monthly with our ABA clients. We're doing parent workshops primarily to fill in the gap for those families who do not have access to ABA therapy, who are waiting for ABA therapy. We do a variety of professional trainings, and we continue to do everything we can to make the community more aware of the challenges faced by families and individuals with autism. In order to provide that lifespan of services that is so important to us, we now have adult programs. There are pre-employment and employment programs that we are working in conjunction with Voc Rehab and with Big Brain Staffing. We're one nonprofit organization with multiple locations throughout the upstate. We started out in Advent United Methodist Church 20 years ago. We are moving out of Advent United Methodist Church at the end of May so that they can finally do some renovations that they have been putting on hold for years to accommodate us. We have plans to move our program to Malden on a 5-acre site that is adjacent to a wonderful city park, which will be a real gift for our kids who love to run. But in the interim, we are relocating to the Temple of Israel that is located near Haywood Mall, and we will operate there our preschool and elementary program. We will soon be opening a clinical space in Spartanburg, providing ABA therapy and Bridging the Gap classes. In our Woodruff location, we are currently providing ABA therapy. It also houses all of our youth and young adult programs. So it's housing our middle and high school Bridging the Gap and Hope Alive Junior classes. And all of our adult programs are located out of this facility as well. We are excited to have a driving simulator through Clemson iCar, where we're not just teaching our older clients how to drive, we're working on fine motor skills, and we're working on teaching some of these younger kids how to be a good passenger. Because for many of our families, they are homebound because their child hates cars, they hate to ride. So we've had some good success so far in desensitizing them to this experience and hopefully making them better members of their home. We also have a life skills house, a real house where we can practice the skills that are necessary for living. And in this house, our kids, all of our adults, practice cooking using menus and groceries that they have purchased from the local BI-LO. Then they work on sitting together at a table, which if you have a child with autism, you know that is rare. That was a skill we took years and years to get with Michael. But sitting together and having conversation at a table, helping them to become better members of their family. I cannot tell you, I was astounded when one day over dinner, my son says, "I will load the dishwasher." I didn't know he knew how to load the dishwasher. He can iron, he can wash and dry his own clothes, he folds them, he hangs them up. All of these things that he would not let me teach him, good, as long as he's doing it with a peer group. Additionally, in there, we have 2 kinds of bathrooms because we continue to work on hygiene skills for our older clients who are more challenged. We have on one side of the hall a family-style bathroom where we teach them to shut the door and lock it and use soap to wash their hands and dry them with a towel. But across the hall, we have a commercial-style bathroom where they learn to go in and lock the stall, and then they use a soap dispenser and that noisy dryer that we have to work to get them used to. So again, we're teaching skills that are necessary for independence, but for those folks who may not ever be independent, we're helping them to learn to be more productive members of their families. On that site in Woodruff, we have 13 acres that we can expand into, and again, a lot of that expansion we see as being that adult portion of what we do. Our plans include residential housing. As soon as we can figure out what that housing needs to look like that is best for our clients and for our families. But in addition to the upstate, Project Hope Foundation serves in Charleston. We're currently serving clients in their homes, looking for a clinical site to go with that. And additionally, we were given a 58,000 square foot building in Greenwood, where we're now providing ABA therapy. And with 58,000 square feet, we have lots of room for expansion. So we are hoping to see that lifespan of services grow in this location. So Project Hope Foundation is providing services and locations throughout South Carolina, serving children as young as from the point of diagnosis, and we've had kids younger than 12 months of age come in, up through adulthood, and a lifespan of services. Thank you.